What if a simple act of kindness could change your entire future? For Ethan, a young boy from Springfield, Missouri buying a birthday gift for his mother became the catalyst for an extraordinary encounter that would reshape his life. As Ethan stood nervously at the jewelry counter clutching his hard-earned savings, he had no idea that the next customer to walk through the door would be none other than Elon Musk. What happened next would not only surprise Ethan, but also challenge our perceptions of generosity and the power of unexpected connections. Ethan stood on the sidewalk outside Rosie's jewelry, his hand deep in his pocket, fingers counting the crumpled bills and jingling coins. The weight of his savings felt heavier than usual, carrying the hopes of a son determined to show his mother just how much she meant to him. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for the task ahead. As he pushed open the door, the gentle chime of bells announced his arrival. The modest shop was a testament to small-town charm, its glass cases gleaming under soft, warm light. Family photos and local memorabilia adorned the walls, each telling a story of Springfield's tight-knit community. Ethan's eyes darted from case to case, searching for the perfect gift. His mother, Maria, had been working double shifts at the diner for months, her smile never fading despite the exhaustion that lined her face. He wanted to give her something special, something that would light up her eyes the way she always brightened his world. As he scanned the displays, a simple silver bracelet caught his attention. Its delicate chain was adorned with a single charm, a heart engraved with the word Mom. Ethan's breath caught in his throat. It was perfect, elegant in its simplicity, just like his mother. His excitement quickly gave way to anxiety as he glanced at the price tag. The bracelet cost more than he had anticipated, and he wasn't sure if his savings would be enough. Ethan's hand tightened around the money in his pocket, his determination wavering for a moment. Taking a deep breath, he approached the counter where Mrs. Rosie, the owner, stood arranging a display. Her kind eyes met his, a warm smile spreading across her face. "Hello there, Ethan. What brings you in today?" Ethan swallowed hard, his voice barely above a whisper. I'd like to buy something for my mom's birthday." He pointed towards the case with the bracelet, his hand trembling slightly. Mrs. Rosie nodded, her expression softening as she retrieved the bracelet. "This is a lovely choice. Your mother is a wonderful woman, Ethan. She'll adore this." As Mrs. Rosie placed the bracelet on the counter, Ethan's fingers fumbled with the money in his pocket. He began to pull out the bills and coins, carefully counting each one. The clinking of change on the glass counter seemed to echo in the quiet store, each coin a reminder of the hours he'd spent saving. Just as Ethan was about to hand over his hard-earned savings, the shop's bell chimed again. The door swung open, bringing with it a gust of cool air and the unmistakable presence of someone new. Ethan glanced over his shoulder, curiosity momentarily overriding his nervousness. A tall figure in a casual hoodie stepped into the store, drawing curious glances from Mrs. Rosie and the few other customers browsing the displays. There was something familiar about him, something that made Ethan's heart skip a beat. As the newcomer lowered his hood, Ethan's eyes widened in disbelief. The face that greeted him was one he had seen countless times on television and in magazines. It was none other than Elon Musk. Time seemed to slow as Elon Musk's presence filled the modest jewelry store. For Ethan, whose world had been focused on scraping together enough money for his mother's gift, the appearance of this tech titan was like a comet streaking across a starless sky. But why was Musk here? And how would his arrival change the course of Ethan's carefully laid plans? The store fell into a hush as Musk approached the counter, his casual attire a stark contrast to the gravity of his presence. Ethan's fingers tightened around his coins, his heart racing as the billionaire inventor stood just inches away. Mrs. Rosie, usually so composed, fumbled with her words as she greeted the unexpected customer. Musk's gaze fell on the delicate silver bracelet lying on the counter. His eyes, curious and kind, shifted from the jewelry to Ethan. "That's a beautiful piece," he said, his voice surprisingly gentle. "Is it for someone special?" Ethan swallowed hard, his voice barely above a whisper. It's for my mom. Her birthday is coming up." He paused, gathering courage before adding, "She works really hard, and I wanted to get her something nice." Musk's expression softened, a smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "That's very thoughtful of you. I'm sure she'll love it." He glanced at the pile of crumpled bills and coins on the counter, understanding dawning in his eyes. The air in the store crackled with anticipation as Musk reached for his wallet. "You know," he said, his tone casual yet filled with warmth, "I'd like to do something here. I know I don't have to, but I want to." He turned to Mrs. Rosie. "I'd like to pay for this young man's gift." Ethan's eyes widened in disbelief, his mouth opening and closing without sound. Mrs. Rosie, equally stunned, looked between Musk and Ethan, her hands frozen over the cash register. But why?" Ethan finally managed to stammer, his voice thick with emotion. Musk knelt down, meeting Ethan at eye level. "Because kindness matters," he said simply, "and because I believe in supporting dreams, no matter how big or small." As Mrs. Rosie carefully wrapped the bracelet, Ethan struggled to process what was happening. This gesture, so unexpected and generous, was more than just about a birthday gift. It was a moment of connection, of humanity, bridging worlds that seemed impossibly far apart. Musk handed the wrapped package to Ethan, their eyes meeting in a moment of shared understanding. "Thank you," Ethan whispered, his voice barely audible but filled with genuine gratitude. As Ethan clutched the gift to his chest, Musk's expression turned curious. "Tell me, Ethan," he said, his tone warm and encouraging, "what do you dream about? What kind of future do you want to build?" The question hung in the air, pregnant with possibility. For Ethan, it was as if a door had suddenly opened, revealing a world of opportunities he had never dared to imagine. Little did he know, his answer would set in motion a chain of events that would change not just his life, but the lives of many in his community. In that jewelry store, two worlds collided, the realm of billion-dollar innovations and the modest dreams of a young boy. But what if those dreams held the seed of something revolutionary? Ethan was about to discover that sometimes the most groundbreaking ideas come from the most unexpected places. Musk's question hung in the air, a challenge and an invitation. Ethan's eyes darted around the store, his mind racing. He had never shared his dream with anyone outside his family, fearing it might sound silly or impossible. But something in Musk's gentle gaze gave him courage. I want to build houses," Ethan began, his voice barely above a whisper. "But not just any houses. Affordable ones that don't fall apart after a few years." His words gained strength as he continued, fueled by a passion that had been simmering for years. "My friend Jake's family lives in a trailer that leaks every time it rains, and Mrs. Rodriguez down the street can barely afford her rent. I think everyone deserves a good home." Musk listened intently, his expression shifting from curiosity to genuine interest. He nodded encouragingly, prompting Ethan to elaborate. The boy's eyes lit up as he described his vision of sturdy, efficient homes that working families could afford. He spoke of using recycled materials, implementing simple but effective insulation techniques, and designing spaces that could grow with families. As Ethan talked, Musk's mind whirred with possibilities. He recognized in this young boy the same spark of innovation and determination that had driven his own ventures. "Every big idea starts with someone just like you," Musk said, his voice warm with admiration. "Someone who sees a problem and thinks, maybe I can fix that." Ethan's cheeks flushed with pride at Musk's words. For the first time, his dream felt real, tangible. It wasn't just a child's fantasy anymore, it was a goal worth pursuing. Musk fell silent for a moment, his brow furrowed in thought. The other customers in the store watched in awe, sensing that something extraordinary was unfolding before them. Finally, Musk spoke, his decision made. "Ethan, I want to help you pursue this dream." The boy's eyes widened in disbelief as Musk outlined his plan. He would arrange for Ethan to receive mentorship in design and engineering, connecting him with experts who could nurture his skills and ideas. But Musk's support didn't stop there. Understanding the financial strain on Ethan's family, he offered to cover their rent for a year, ensuring that Ethan could focus on his education and his housing project without worry. As the details of this life-changing opportunity unfolded, Ethan felt as if he were floating. The small jewelry store had become the launchpad for a journey he never could have imagined. His world, once confined to the streets of his small town, was suddenly expanding, filled with possibilities he had never dared to dream of. In that moment, surrounded by the glittering displays of Rosie's jewelry, a simple act of kindness had blossomed into something far greater. It was the beginning of a partnership that would not only change Ethan's life, but potentially reshape the future of housing for countless families. When news of Ethan's encounter with Elon Musk spread through the small town, it was like a pebble dropped in a still pond. The ripples of that moment would touch lives far beyond the jewelry store. But the true transformation was yet to come. What happens when a child's dream collides with the resources to make it real? Ethan's journey into the world of design and engineering began with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. His mentor, Darren, a seasoned architect with a passion for sustainable housing, welcomed the young dreamer with open arms. Their first meeting set the tone for what would become an extraordinary partnership. "Remember, Ethan," Darren said, his eyes twinkling with enthusiasm, "every great building starts with a single line on paper." Together they pored over blueprints, discussed material sciences, and explored the principles of energy-efficient design. Ethan's notebook quickly filled with sketches and ideas, each page a testament to his growing knowledge and ambition. But translating dreams into reality proved challenging. Ethan's innovative concepts often clashed with practical constraints. There were late nights spent redesigning floor plans, frustrating moments when calculations didn't add up, and times when the sheer scope of his vision seemed overwhelming. Yet, with each obstacle, Ethan's determination grew stronger. As word of Ethan's project spread, the community rallied around him. Local contractors offered their expertise, retired teachers volunteered to tutor him in advanced math, and families shared their housing challenges, providing real-world context for his designs. The town's excitement was palpable, transforming Ethan's solitary dream into a collective hope for change. Months of hard work culminated in Ethan's first public presentation at the town hall. The room buzzed with anticipation as he stood before the crowd, his hands trembling slightly as he unrolled his carefully crafted blueprints. Taking a deep breath, Ethan began to speak, his voice growing stronger with each word. He outlined his vision for affordable, sustainable homes built with recycled materials and innovative insulation techniques. He showed designs for modular units that could expand as families grew and community spaces that fostered connection. As he spoke, the audience leaned forward, captivated by the clarity of his ideas and the passion in his voice. When Ethan finished, the room erupted in applause. Questions flew from all corners, not just about the technical aspects of his designs, but about how soon they could become reality. In that moment, Ethan realized he had become more than just a dreamer. He was now a voice for change in his community. The impact of that day rippled outward. Local businesses pledged support for a pilot project. Schools incorporated elements of sustainable design into their curricula. Even neighboring towns took notice, sending representatives to learn from Springfield's young visionary. Ethan's journey, sparked by a chance encounter and nurtured by a community's belief, had grown into something far greater than anyone could have imagined. It wasn't just about building houses anymore, it was about building a future where everyone had a place to call home. As the sun set on Springfield, casting a warm glow over the modest homes and bustling streets, the impact of Ethan's journey resonated through the community. What had begun as a simple act of kindness in a jewelry store had blossomed into a movement, inspiring young and old alike to dream bigger and reach further. Ethan and his mother Maria stood on their porch gazing out at the neighborhood they'd always called home. The first prototype of Ethan's affordable housing design stood proudly down the street, a testament to the power of innovation and community support. Maria's eyes glistened with pride as she squeezed her son's shoulder. "You've changed so much, honey," she said softly. "And you're changing our town, too." Ethan nodded, his mind already racing with new ideas and improvements. The future stretched before them, brimming with possibilities that once seemed out of reach. As twilight deepened, they shared a quiet moment of gratitude for the unexpected encounter that had set it all in motion.